We begin at 5 o'clock with the controversial Live Golf Tournament. It teed off today at Pumpkin Ridge Golf Course outside of Portland. It's the start of the Saudi Arabian-backed Golf League's first event in America. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter. Earlier today, family members of 9/11 victims protested the tournament because of Saudi Arabia's involvement in the terrorist attacks. Investigative reporter Evan Watson joins us now from outside Pumpkin Ridge Golf Course. And Evan, these family members are calling out the golfers who've accepted millions of dollars to compete.
That's exactly right. This tour is sponsored by the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, offering huge amounts of money to fewer golfers to compete in fewer tournaments. Protesters and critics, including these families, say that's a clear example of sports washing, spending to deflect from the government's reported human rights abuses. Some of the world's most famous golfers have signed up for this new tour, with many sidestepping questions about Live Golf's backers, saying their job is to compete and provide entertainment. But family members of people who died on 9/11 say that attitude is, quote, callous, ignorant, and harmful. The 9/11 Justice Group paid for an ad which is running across all 4 Portland TV stations today, including KGW. The family members talked about an FBI report which tied 9/11 hijackers to Saudi nationals living in the United States. Juliet Scouso, whose father was one of the hundreds of firefighters who died during 9/11, said the tour's existence shows a lack of accountability. It's why she and others flew to Portland to protest.
This country and the American people swore to never forget. Well, here we are, nearly 21 years later, with no justice, and the responsible parties are being allowed to operate on American soil with impunity. It is shameful, it is wrong, it is hurtful, and we deserve justice.
The golf tournament at Pumpkin Ridge lasts through Saturday. We did learn that Eco Trust, a nonprofit that hosted a Live Golf draft party at its Portland event space on Tuesday night, has now since apologized for its involvement. Eco Trust said, quote, "We will evaluate and change our policies for vetting and booking events. We are a mission-driven organization and we take our values seriously." Laurel?
Thank you, Evan. Brutal and savage. That's how a homeless advocate is describing an unprovoked attack on a houseless individual. Officers made an arrest in the case, and the suspect was in court this afternoon. Mike Benner was there and joins us with the latest. Mike?
Yeah, Laurel, the suspect is identified as Spencer Kilpatrick. His court appearance was brief. He pleaded not guilty to attempted murder and unlawful use of a weapon. What this guy is accused of doing is beyond horrific.
Lunch hour at the Blanchet House in Old Town. Noticeably absent from the lengthy line of houseless individuals looking for a meal is somebody who goes by the name Scotty.
We knew Scotty well, not only because he came to us a lot, but he was a very unique and interesting individual.
Blanchet House Executive Director Scott Kerman says Scotty liked to dress in women's clothing, something Scotty took great pride and joy in. And just maybe that was the motive behind what happened Monday night, although it's unclear right now. Kerman says Scotty was lying under a tree outside the Blanchet house when he was stabbed repeatedly in what looked like an unprovoked attack.
We do know that these are life-threatening injuries, and we're hoping and praying for recovery, but some of us have seen the video of the attack, and it was quite savage and brutal.
Making it all the more important for police to track down the suspect, which they did Wednesday near Northwest 6th and Gleason. This photo posted on Instagram shows officers arresting Spencer Kilpatrick. The 27-year-old, charged with attempted murder, made his first court appearance Thursday afternoon.
Something like this is extra horrific for us. It's a true tragedy.
A tragedy, Kerman says, shines a light on the pervasive violence and terror that exists for people living on the streets of Old Town.
It just escalates the trauma. It just compounds the trauma of being homeless. It compounds the trauma that, in truth, led a lot of these people to where they are today. And this is really something that isn't talked about enough.
All right, as Scott Kerman points out, this is the second attack outside Blanchet House this year. You might recall back in February, a houseless individual by the name James Wise was attacked and killed. The suspect in that case was arrested. As far as the suspect in this case, Spencer Kilpatrick, is due back in court Friday. Laurel.
Thank you, Mike. Some Oregonians are about to get a raise. The state's minimum wage is going up tomorrow. In the Portland metro area, wages will increase from $14 to $14.75 an hour. Outside the metro, it will go up to $13.50. And for most of rural Oregon, wages will increase to $12.50 an hour. Lawmakers approved a series of increases back in 2016. Next year, wages will go back to being adjusted based on inflation. A summer camp that helps disabled children and adults is struggling to find lifeguards. The Mount Hood Kiwanis camp has to have lifeguards just so campers can use the pool. Bryant Clerkley was there today and spoke with the executive director. And Bryant, they need lifeguards for the next session that starts soon.
Yes, it starts July 4th, Laurel, and the camp has no lifeguards for that session. If they don't find any, the campers won't be able to use the pool. The pool is therapeutic for people with physical and developmental disabilities.
The lifeguard shortage is not just an issue in Portland, where Portland Parks and Recreation had to scale back swim lessons because of the lack of staff. Over at Mount Hood Kiwanis Camp, there's a desperate need for new lifeguards as well. Executive Director Dave McDonald thinks the pandemic had something to do with the recent shortage. He says they can't find enough applicants.
You know, we had a lot of closed pools, and so I think maybe teenagers weren't getting certified to be lifeguards, and that has left maybe a gap in lifeguards for this year that I hope straightens out in succeeding years.
You have to be certified, and the camp is willing to pay for certifications. The job pays $750 per session, and each session lasts 2 weeks. There's also a $50 signing bonus. 17-year-old Cole Mosteller has been coming to the camp and using the pool for years.
The pool helps you a lot, get your muscles going, like you go swimming, and get your legs going, and get you all pumped and everything. God love this pool, and we do need more lifeguards out here.
The camp needs 2 lifeguards a week, but they can operate the pool with 1. Lifeguards have the option of living at the camp and getting free meals, or they can drive back and forth. McDonald hopes they can find some lifeguards by the time new campers show up.
Well, if we don't have a certified lifeguard, we simply can't operate the pool, which would be a huge disappointment for our campers because, I mean, look at it. It's gorgeous out here, and the pool is set to a therapeutic temperature for our camper population.
16-year-old Harrison Halstead says coming to camp is the highlight of his summer, and he loves using the pool. He says lifeguards make him feel a lot safer.
Someone falls in, they're always there to help him, and so that's always great having them there every time.
If people are interested in the job, I'll have the contact info for the person you're supposed to email on our webpage, kgw.com. And again, the camp is in need of 8 more lifeguards for the rest of the summer. Laura?